Can you get a DUI in Canada even if you're not over the legal limit? Yes. There are two ways in Canada that you can be charged with DUI, even if you're not over the legal limit. The first way that you can be charged with DUI in Canada, even if you're not over the legal limit, is if you are impaired by alcohol. See, Canada has two separate laws related to alcohol and driving. The first law says that you can't be over 0.08 at the time that you're driving the car, or within 2 hours after ceasing to operate the car, as we've talked about in other videos. But the second reason that Canada says that you can be guilty of a DUI is if you're impaired by alcohol. And this doesn't matter whether or not you're over the legal limit. Impairment is any degree of impairment, even slight. So if you have a couple drinks and they make you tipsy, but you're not over the legal limit, you're still guilty of DUI in Canada. Now, the second reason is a lot more concerning, and this is because even if you provide a sample that is less than 0.08, the judge is allowed to do math without any evidence whatsoever that this is actually accurate or scientifically applicable to you or the circumstances in which you were drinking. The judge is allowed to do math in your trial to take your reading from being under 0.08 to over 0.08 based on the passage of time. This is because a provision in the Federal Criminal Code of Canada allows a judge to add 5 milligrams of alcohol for every 30 minutes that have passed since the time of driving. So if your sample is 60.06, 4 hours after you were driving, a judge can add to that 5 milligrams for every half hour, which is 4 times 5, 20 milligrams of alcohol. That would bring you up to 80 and make you guilty of impaired driving in Canada, being at or over 0.08 at the time that you were operating the motor vehicle. Isn't that crazy? You can blow under the legal limit, but depending on how much time has passed, the government can effectively just legislate that you're nevertheless guilty. And this law actually doesn't have a lot of scientific legitimacy. While certainly alcohol eliminates from the body at a consistent rate of between 10 and 20 milligrams per hour in most people, the elimination phase of alcohol consumption isn't necessarily consistent with what your blood alcohol level was at the time. This is because your alcohol level starts to eliminate from the beginning of your consumption of alcohol, but your peak blood alcohol concentration, that is the absorption of all of your alcohol, happens typically 20 to 40 minutes after the end of consumption. But studies have shown that alcohol absorption can be even as long as like 160 minutes, depending on the situation in which you're drinking. Situations like something like bolus drinking, where you're consuming a large amount of alcohol in a short time span, like if you're chugging a drink to impress your friends, that can actually cause your blood alcohol level to plateau, which can lead you to having a lower blood alcohol level for a long period of time before it continues to rise. And yet the legislation in Canada doesn't take this science into account. So you can be guilty of DUI even though you're innocent.